Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome to our channel, Why Not Now? My name is Steven. This is my beautiful wife, Miss Marie.
So guys, what are we doing today? We are talking about the long-awaited preparing for your move to Mexico video. Finally, I'm sorry guys, we're working on a lot of other projects, but we are gonna go ahead and do the video today. We're gonna talk about 13 things that you must know and must do to prepare in order to make your move to Mexico a smooth transition. And don't worry, I say 13 things, but I'm gonna elaborate on some of those things. So let's go ahead and get it going.
All right guys, number one, sell. Started months in advance. Sell or donate your items, your clothing, your furniture, your cars, whatever you need to do. Think about what you were planning to do, how you would like to move to Mexico. We decided to just pretty much sell everything, sell and donate everything, because we can come down here and get a furnished apartment and et cetera, et cetera. That was our decision. But we have to tell you, do it months in advance, because you think that it's enough time, but honestly it creeps up on you very, very fast. We used an app, of course, a neighborhood app we used. It was Nextdoor in the neighborhood. You can do that, and people normally would come around and pick up some items. You can go about it that way. You can use OfferUp, and there's others I think you can use as well. Let me look down. I'm looking down at my notes, guys. Craigslist as well, but be kind of careful with Craigslist. Depends on the city, I guess. I don't know, but we mainly use Nextdoor and OfferUp. We are very successful in doing it that way.
Right. So as my husband mentioned, you're going to see us look down from time to time because we are looking at our notes. And we primarily use the Nextdoor app and OfferUp. When we did Nextdoor app, because you can kind of narrow it down to your immediate subdivision, or I think neighboring subdivisions, or you can expand it out to multiple areas. Be careful, but you can meet people at your house, but really know your neighbors. I mean, if it's within your subdivision, you'll probably feel more comfortable. When it comes to OfferUp, we always met somebody at a public place and took the item there. There were some items that we did donate. For example, some cities will accept mattresses, others won't. It just depends on where you live. And those are the last things. So the mattress, for example, we did at the very, very end. So things like that we needed, we did at the very, very end, but we did make the calls ahead of time. We had a blow-up mattress that we just in case we got rid of it sooner, and that way we had something to sleep on, but that making sure that everything was gone. Yeah.
And we donated to for military families. We donate to military families, for families with women, homelessness, women. Go to whatever
addiction centers.
Yeah, go to whatever's in your heart, however you feel. We decided to pretty much try to spread it all the way around the board, and we actually pretty much just giving things away, because we realized it was more important for us to strip everything down and to move over here, because we just so excited about coming over here. But make sure you do that early. And I know sometimes you may have a home being sold, because we know a couple now they're trying to sell a home, and we know that can be a process, and you just have to figure it out. Even if you sell your home, you probably can write it in a contract that allow us to stay here X amount of time and whatnot. But that's our advice: sell or donate.
Right. We sold our house first, and then we downgraded to an apartment for 6 months. That's how we went about it, but you can go about it your way, obviously. Yeah. There's always, a workaround. You can figure it out.
All right, guys.
Okay, number 2. Sorry, guys, we're out in the park and the bugs are trying to get me. Number 2, you're going to want to book your airfare, your Airbnb. We did ours about 2 months in advance. Just keep an eye on prices, because they fluctuate day to day, from the morning to the afternoon. I mean, you know how airfare is. It's very tricky. They've gotten really wise. They know how to, no matter what you do, it just seems like the airfare will be expensive. But go ahead and book your airfare in time, book your Airbnb. As we mentioned in our previous videos, don't just book an Airbnb in one area, guys, because when you come here, you may think you love that area, but you won't really know until you really experience other areas. So our recommendation, what we learned, book maybe 2-3 different Airbnbs, one week here, 1 week in a different area, and so on and so forth. That way, you can get around and really get a feel for the area. Okay.
Number three. All right, that is, you've heard us mention it before, setting up a Charles Schwab account. We have 2 accounts set up, of course. We have the Charles Schwab, and also we have the Capital One 360. And the reason we have those because of the foreign transaction fees. Am I saying that correct? They don't really hit you on the foreign transaction fees, what Charles Schwab does, but they reimbursed it. So make sure you always check that and make sure that you know that everything's being reimbursed properly and everything like that. And,
right. They promote Charles Schwab has a investors checking and savings option, and of course that could change by the time you see this video. Anything could change day to day.
Yeah.
But that option is the promotion. They promote no foreign transaction fees, and what that means, what my husband means, is that you do get charged, but then at the end of the month they reimburse you everything that you would charge at the ATM. So all those additional fees. So that's a must-have for being here. And a tip for you guys: I mean, never keep all your funds in one account. I don't care how little or how much you have. You want to be able to access your money. If you have an issue with one bank account, you need to have a backup. And in fact, you need to have at least 3 options, 3 ways of getting your money to be safe, God forbid. Other thing is, make sure that your bank, your cards, like your Charles Schwab, if you already have one, or any other bank account, credit card, whatever you plan to have on you, is current. So if you can do that before you leave, if you can order a new card, that way you don't have to get stuck in that process when you're leaving, or maybe have an issue with the strip or anything like that, or maybe they want to renew the card because it's been around for X amount of years. You get that out of the way before you come to Mexico, so you don't have that hassle. Try to get a card that, like when you book your air travel, like for example Discover credit card, they give you like some travel miles, and they do a match or something like that. I mean, there are a lot of different options out there. Discover is just one of many. I think that's about it, guys, on the bank, but definitely a must-have. You don't want to be paying those foreign transaction fees. Okay, so number 4. Ensure that I'm going to have my husband elaborate a little bit on this one.
Make sure that your cell phone is unlocked, and it's pretty much like it's kind of like a 2-part to this, and set up the emails for verification and everything like that. But unlock your cell phone, because my cell phone was unlocked already, but my wife's cell phone, even though it was paid for and everything, a carrier, they didn't have it unlocked. So
but they told us it was unlocked, and everything was good to go. And come to find out, we got here, my phone wasn't working properly.
Wasn't working at all, and we were still having a little bit of service. But once it came time for us to get our Telcel card and stuff like that, it was a problem. So I was on the phone with them for hours, for days, going back and forth.
So we had So I'll tell you what happened. We used to have years ago T-Mobile, and then the phone was paid and everything, and we downgraded to Metro. PCS wanted to pay less. Yeah. But you know that T-Mobile is the parent company of Metro PCS. So for whatever reason, Metro kept referring him back to T-Mobile. T-Mobile kept referring him back to Metro, and that went on for days on end until, long story short, he figured out that it wasn't truly unlocked, and then I think it was Metro that had to truly unlock it, and he had to get to a different department and got the runaround, but finally it was done.
Finally I got in contact. It was actually T-Mobile that was holding us up, and I got in contact with somebody because there's a T-Mobile office in Boise, Idaho, and so I got in contact with this guy from Boise, Idaho, and he said, oh, let me help the hometown guy out, and he helped me out, unlocked it, it was done, and we moved on with that.
Yeah. And another bonus tip for you guys is make sure that you set up a backup, like an email verification, because I know they have a way of, what do you call that, where you can still keep the text messages on. You can still
Is it Google Voice, or?
I think so, where you can still keep a US number for text messages. But if you don't have that option, like we didn't do that, you want to make sure that a proper email is linked to your phone. That way, if you're getting any verification codes, you're not scrambling at the last minute trying to get the code because your US number changed and now you have a Mexican number, and so on and so forth.
It's a problem. And not to stay on this topic so long, but we heard the Google Voice, I think you have to do it in the States. So make sure that you do it in the States, because I don't think you can do it once you get outside.
And then we got misinformed. We thought we could do it here, and it just wasn't working for us. So that's kind of where we got that, had a little headache with that.
That was our experience.
Okay.
All right, guys, number 5. Bring all important docs and copies. Print your bank statements. And
make sure that you have if you get a pension, if you get Social Security, you want to have copies of all of that. Make sure that you You check your driver's license, and if you have the ability to, if it's time, go ahead and renew it ahead of time. That way you don't have to worry about that. Maybe renew it for 10 years or whatever, get it out the way. Make sure that you go ahead and print copies, like have copies of your passport. Leave a copy with a family member with the embassy information. You have a copy of the embassy information of all of the embassies within Mexico. If you have an emergency situation, leave it with a friend or family member, and pretty much just everything you need, anything you can think of, even a medical record. Like you'd be surprised, if you are going to a doctor long term and you're on maintenance medications, if you can get a copy of your medical record, bring it with you, because even though you can tell the doctor here in Mexico, it's a lot easier to hand it over and say, hey, these are all the medications I've been on, especially if you have a bunch of health concerns that you've been dealing with and a bunch of medications you've been on. It's kind of handy to have that paperwork to show what you've been on.
Absolutely.
Okay, number 6, make sure you refill all of your medications prior to. So if possible, try to bring as many months supply of medication that you need, especially maintenance medications, with you, because although you will find majority of the medications that you need here or something similar, you want to not have to scramble around and stress about those things when you're here. You want to make sure you have everything that you need, and then you have the proper time to go around to multiple pharmacies here and check the pricing, get the best pricing, get the most bang for your buck. Tip, which you guys already know, we talked about this in another video. When it comes to Mexico, you do not need a prescription for most drugs. When I say most, if it's a controlled drug, if it's an antibiotic, you will need a prescription, but that's pretty easy because usually the pharmacies have like a doctor on staff, or like a consultorio médico, like a little place that you can go to if you have an issue, and they can write you an antibiotic and you can get it literally in the same place. So it's not really a big stress, but just so you know, most medications do not require a prescription here in Mexico.
Check out some of our previous videos where we were walking around in Millennial, and even walking around, I think in Central Sur, Central, all these places. We were showing you those offices my wife's talking about, where they have consultations on hand and stuff like that.
And if you're like us and you have pets, make sure you bring your pets meds, because we have 2 little guys. We have a Yorkie and a Morkie, and we brought like their flea prevention. They were on Simparica. And just FYI, guys, here in Querétaro, we thought we had to get the heartworm and do all of that. But heartworm here, from what a vet told me, is not a big concern. So as long as you have the flea and tick prevention, you give it to them monthly or however you go about it, get a good one, you're fine. But if you're traveling to like the Yucatan and to more tropical climates, you will want to have the combo, the heartworm and the flea prevention together. Also, DME equipment. If you're like me, I have asthma. I had an asthma machine at home, a nebulizer, but it was very heavy. It was like, I had it for like, my God, I can't tell you, like 2 decades, and it still works. So what I did was I purchased a portable nebulizer. It's very lightweight and it just works so much better for me. I got that, and little did I know I could just buy it straight from, I went online. I forgot the name of the website, gosh, but I went online.
Yeah, we can try to link that
if I can find that information, but I bought it online, easy peasy, no problem. And of course I had my nebulizer medication refills with me, and I brought that. Okay,
number 7, set up a U.S. address. I heard you can do it virtually, but you can also use your family members, and that would be very helpful.
Right. So if you don't have a family or friend that you either have, or you don't want that your personal stuff going to a family member or friend, no worries. They have virtual mailboxes, so you can get around that, no problem. But if you're fine with your mail going to your family, if you have a trusted person, like we do, we have our mother back in Atlanta, you can have anything important just from the States that may come going to that person that you trust. You can also stop junk mail. That's what I did, but it doesn't necessarily really always work. You can call a number or go on a website and request to have like all like flyers and things like that stopped for a certain amount of time or permanently, I think. I don't know how well it works, but I did try to do that. Just FYI, guys, on that.
All right, number 8. We've done a video about this, about apps, and I will put that in there. Download the apps that you need. I'm going to look down again, make sure, but I'm going off the top of my head. Uber, Airbnb, Google Translate, of course WhatsApp. What else am I missing? That's pretty much it. There may be a couple more. Of course, we get down here, the Uber Eats and stuff like that.
Google Lens.
Google Lens come in handy. I actually used Google Lens the other day for another story we're going to tell you guys about. But yeah, make sure you download those apps because you're going to use them immediately once you get here. And the Airbnbs, the Uber rides, the WhatsApp when you're trying to find rentals or stuff like that, that's very important. So make sure you download those apps, guys.
And I was gonna say something now about the app. When it comes to Google Translate, just keep in mind it's really, I mean, sometimes it doesn't translate right, guys. It's not perfect, but it gets you, pretty much the meat and potatoes when you need it. It's a lifesaver. But you're gonna have to understand that when you come to Mexico or you travel anywhere in Latin America, every country has their own way, their own slang, their own way of talking, and you're not gonna know every word. It's not, trust me, you're gonna learn a bunch of new words. You're gonna be like, oh, I had no idea. It's completely different. But it's, these bugs are getting me. But you definitely want to have that. It's important to have that for the basics. Yeah, because I have a story about using the Google Translate, talking to somebody, then down here they hit you with the Monday. And it's like, what? Like they don't understand what you're saying, So, like my wife's saying, it's the lingo, every slang is down here totally different. Right. Like if you're talking to someone who speaks Spanish, sometimes they may say "cómo," like if they didn't understand what you said, or like what, or like repeat, like tell me that again. But over here, that you'll hear in Mexico, "mande." Mande is like, I didn't catch that, and hear that. What? Can you repeat that? So, number 9. All right. VPN. I'll let my husband talk about that because he's the one who researched the VPN. Yeah, VPN. I researched a lot of VPNs. A lot of people be pushing for these other VPNs. Surfshark. I'm not going to call it. Yeah, Surfshark, Nord, and all those. They're pushing for them because they're paid promotions. Now, and that's okay. I just want to say that there will be times in the future where we may have a paid promotion. But we use it. But it's going to be something that we really like, that has worked well for us, and we had a good experience with it. Now, we're not going to go ahead and tell you to use something that we haven't used ourselves and had a good experience with. You have to be careful, because when you're watching YouTube, you really, you ask people, ask questions. That's what I've done, and I've learned. I'm like, oh, they're not using it. They don't even know anything about it, but they're promoting it. So ask questions. Yeah, and we use ExpressVPN. ExpressVPN has been great for us so far. We haven't really had any problems logging in with your bank accounts, your just basic email, just basic use, the Netflix and all those stuff where you can just see all the movies and things you want. But that's what we use, ExpressVPN. It costs more, a little bit more than the Surfshark and everything, but to us, it's great. To me, we haven't had any problems with it. And if you guys are like me, where I know about technology, but I'm not like this big tech person. It stands for Virtual Private Network. So it just means that, like, for example, when you go to China, you can't just Google whatever you want, right? So people have these VPNs they connect to, and that way they can still go ahead and look at a Google or look at a YouTube or, whatever the case may be, and, watch, like my husband said, Netflix and things of that nature, so you can still connect. Yeah. And thanks to my wife, guys. She breaks it down. I don't break it down like how she will, but I break things down. And if you hear a little noise behind us, we're in the beautiful Alameda Park over here in Santiago de Querétaro. They're open. It's open up now, and it's very nice over here. Very peaceful. Okay, number 10, guys. Absentee voting. You want to vote. Your vote matters, right? Yeah. So make sure you sign up for that. I don't have to really elaborate on that. You already know the importance of things. You're still part of your home country, so want to make sure you play your part there. Play your part, yeah. So make sure you're signed up for your absentee voting. Okay. Number 11. Council. I'm gonna let my wife more so talk about this one, about car registrations and things like that. So if you don't want to have to pay insurance, some people are fine with it. They're like, okay, well, they just park their car somewhere and they keep paying insurance. I don't want to pay. I don't want to pay for car insurance. I don't care how cheap it is. So make sure you cancel your car registration. At the time, we lived in Boise, Idaho for 5 years. We've traveled throughout the United States. You guys who've been watching us already know, my husband's originally from Atlanta, Georgia. I'm from New York. And we lived in Boise, Idaho, one of the places. And over there, it was pretty easy. We called up the county, and they told us all we had to do was go to a website, and answer some questions, and we were able to cancel our car registration there. That way we didn't have to continue paying insurance even though the car was parked somewhere, because even though you think that your car is parked somewhere you're not using it, you don't have to pay insurance. Guess what? You do.
You do.
So
it's a shame.
Shame
on you guys. Shame on you.
So number 12.
Oh yeah, pre-scheduled Uber rides and
from the airport.
Yeah, or get a private driver. We had a terrible situation when we arrived here. I don't know if Uber not allowed at the airport sometimes or what, I don't know, but we had arrived so late, and I just told you guys this story in Let's Find a Rental, and I'll put that in there. We arrived there late. Taxis were closed. Uber was, man, scarce. So we had to re-download the app because we landed in another country and all that stuff, and finally we got an Uber, but it took a while to get from the airport. So I would recommend pre-schedule an Uber ride, because you can go into the app and schedule it, or have a private driver, and they have tons of private drivers down here. Some of the Uber guys actually are private drivers as well, so when you get in the car and talk to them, they may have a car. They do private drive. They drive you around privately as well. So
yeah, they want to make the extra money outside of Uber.
So most definitely do that.
And the taxi stand probably would have normally been open, but we came in the height of the pandemic. So guys, just keep that in mind. We landed like 11 o'clock at night, and we thought, okay, the taxi stand will be open, because we had heard, we did our research and everything, but apparently it had closed early because I guess whatever was going on with the pandemic. So if we would have arrived early, I'm sure it would have been a little bit of a less stressful experience. But by the time we got to our hotel, it was like maybe like 1:30 in the morning.
Yeah, it was late.
It was a lot, and we had two small dogs and everything. So
and the taxi gonna charge you more too than the Uber, so that's why I kind of push for the Uber. But taxi, safety, whatever, how you want to go about that would be a great option. But
number 13 is really not important to my husband. It's important to me. So I wanted to add it. It's kind of like, obviously it's just in a random order, but number 13 is, if you're like me and you don't like to waste money on $5 bottles of water and a $10 sandwich that tastes like you got it in like a hospital cafeteria, make sure you pack you some snacks. And I was really lucky when we left. I had like sweet potato pie. My mother-in-law packed for me. I was like eating sweet potato pie in the airport. Yeah. I was living good. I was comfortable. So pack you some little snacks and things that you can carry with you. That way, God forbid, if you're like, oh my God, this airport food is horrendously horrible, or it's just it's too expensive, you can just reach in your bag and you have something there that you can munch on. And this is just a bonus.
Last but not least, shout out to my brother for hooking us up on that. Bring a fire stick. A fire stick over here to us is great. We watch whatever we want to watch. He programmed it. It's lovely. We really enjoy that, and it allows us to see a lot of stations that we see in the States, things like that. Even though where we live, we have basic cable and stuff over here, and we just flip back and forth. But yeah, fire stick over here, it's amazing.
Yeah, especially in the beginning. Like we watch everything in Spanish, but when we do want to watch something in English, or we miss something, an old show, we have the fire stick, and it comes in really handy.
Yeah.
So this is everything, guys. We were going through it because we know how we can get stuck on one area and elaborate. We can talk on and on and on. If you have any questions, post them in the comments. We always do our best to answer them as fast as possible. And there are a lot of videos that we have, a lot of informative videos. I can go on and on. We have a cost of living video in our old apartment. We don't live in Millennial anymore, but you can get an idea of cost of living. We break down every detail. We have 2 temporary residency videos. Tells you step by step, goes over the website, shows you screenshots on how to get your temporary residency if you're coming from the U.S. We have
neighborhood tours.
We're known for doing neighborhood tours, so we show you all kinds of areas here in Santiago de Querétaro. So check out our other videos. We hope you enjoyed this. Most importantly, let's end our video how we always do. Guys, live the life that you were meant to live. Keep a grateful heart, and remember,
why not now? All right, guys, peace.